To commemorate the founding of New Orleans in 1718, WYES presents this Tricentennial moment in celebration of our city's past and present.
We had windows open in the summertime, and one of my most wonderful memories would be sitting at the dining room table, and it was my mother and father, my 6 brothers and sisters, and I, hearing in the distance someone call out, a street vendor calling out, "Blackberries, blackberries." And my father would give us some money and say, "Run out and buy some."
There were ladies, black ladies from, they would come from Westwego. The Walnut Street Ferry was in existence then, and they would come over the ferry and it landed behind Audubon Park. And then they would walk up and down the streets with baskets selling blackberries.
The blackberry lady would come by all the time, "Blackberries!" with the big bucket on, a basket on her head, and you'd buy a jelly glass was a nickel, a jelly glass of blackberries.
Well, I remember all the way back to the banana man with the wagon and the mule. I remember him going around and calling out bananas in a long, 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 long series of syllables. I think he said banana, na, 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 like that.
The fruit vendors always came by. There's still a few of them left. Got a ripe melon here, you know. Red to the rind and all that kind of business.
I got watermelon, lid red to the rhyme, got candles. It was just similar to a Gregorian chant in the churches. Later on, when I became a choir boy, I said, well, this is kind of related, because it was like a sing-song chant that each one had its own particular style of doing, and you could identify, who was coming down the street if you just listened to the way they sang the song about peddling their wares.
And of course we had a vegetable man that came by in a truck, and he would call my mother, and she'd go out there and argue with him about tomatoes. That was one of the sounds in the neighborhood, my mother arguing about those tomatoes and what they cost.
WYES's New Orleans Tricentennial Moments are brought to you by the Miro Foundation and presented in association with the Historic New Orleans Collection.